That's right. Welcome back to Grit and Grace with Jennifer and Merideth. You're listening to us on Lone Star Community Radio, Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1, or you can catch us on irlonestar.com or the Lone Star Internet Radio app. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. 8 to 9 Saturday mornings. Between the two of us, you're not only going to get connected with what's going on in the community, but you'll get to hear a little bonus action about our lives. So, yeah, today, what do we have in store, Jen?
Today, we have a special guest, JR with Guns to Hammers Construction. Welcome, JR.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So, let's get it started and find out what inspired you to begin Guns to Hammers Construction.
Yeah, so I've owned a construction company in Houston now for several years. Been in the business for about 20 plus. Over the years, started to notice a pattern of types of sales calls we were going out on. Many of them were for veterans that were in wheelchairs, needed to have specific work done in their homes, and they were waiting on a check from the VA. The check would never seem to come in. And so, being a Marine myself, it really started to weigh on me over the years. And I just decided I was going to do something about it. So, rather than leave these guys each time and never see them again, I thought, well, this is America. We can do anything we want to do here. So I started Guns to Hammers, 501c3, and we specialize in retrofitting wounded veterans' homes so that they can live life more independently.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a wonderful organization. And I know I was, messing it up when we first were talking, but you were saying the retrofit. I mean, when people think of retrofit, can you expand on that to kind of give them an idea of how you and your team, what you and your team does for a lot of the vets?
So a lot of it is just real basic stuff. Widening door openings, building wheelchair ramps, and the big one is building ADA compliant bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys can bathe themselves.
Right.
Many of them are already traumatized for obvious reasons. They're in a wheelchair. They've lost their legs, and they're already feeling very inadequate. And living at home and not being able to do the most basic things doesn't do anything for their recovery. It actually makes them worse. Everybody's heard about the whole 22 PTSD, 22 suicides a day in this country, which is totally unacceptable. And there's no wonder why. These guys are coming home, and essentially they're being left behind right here at home. I almost consider them to be the new generation POWs. Because these guys are prisoners in their own house.
That's so profound. Yes. I love that you bring attention to it.
And a lot of them in their own minds.
Absolutely. And so, being able to create the ability for them to at least take care of themselves, wheel themselves into a shower, bathe themselves without having to ask for anybody,
yes.
Ask for anybody's help. And, the thing is, it puts just as much strain on family members and wives and, the folks that are there at the house trying to take care of them. So it's a very bad situation. And there's about 1.1, give or take, million of these veterans living this way in our country right now.
Now, and when I heard those numbers, listeners, we all hear about 1 million this, stats here, but I want you to take a minute and actually sit down, or just in your mind, take a minute to think about today. Over 1 million of our vets that went and have given their lives, sacrificed, their time and everything they do, put their personal lives on hold. We take that so for granted. So over 1 million of them, as we sit here right now in this moment, it's just amazing that there are wounded vets that all over, and potentially I imagine a large percentage of those are not able in one fashion or another to be able to actually get the help they need, whether it be, the help for mental help or physical help or anything. Over 1 million. I don't want that to be trivialized. So that's something, again, keep going. I'm sorry, JR, but when you hear those numbers, we're so inundated with stats all the time that we forget that there's people behind that. In fact, there's over 1 million. And it's just amazing that something that serious is going on and prevalent. And I love how you said the POW of modern day, in the sense of, coming here and coming home after war, or whatever travels they've had to do on behalf of the country, and still feeling, like they are not able to continue on, and contribute in many ways because of some of the limits, right?
Absolutely. These people have been cut down, many of them in the prime of their life. They're now in a place where they have to recover, and the doctors can put them on meds, and but at the end of the day, they've got very basic physical requirements they need, and your average home doesn't allow for it. The average home has interior doors are normally 32 inches wide. It's not wide enough for a wheelchair, and it's not really a big deal to be able to go in and widen a door. For those of us, myself in the construction business, we do far more complex projects than that. So, I decided that Guns to Hammers, it's a company that is growing now. We are veteran run, actually, right now. Now, not everybody associated with the organization is a veteran, but we are also promoting the concept of hiring veterans to come into our organization. And as we spread around the country and we network with other contractors around the country who will all work under our foundation, Guns to Hammers, we will be able to have far-reaching capabilities, so that vet, when he calls us from Toledo, Ohio, or Rochester, New York, all we have to do is make a phone call and find our top-tier contractor that we've already screened who wants to serve his own community. And we will literally, based on what we're doing, we're going to be able to pay him to essentially work for his own people in his neighborhood, and his own town. So what I have in on the agenda is growing Guns to Hammers to the point where it's going to end up being a household name in America.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be known as a very trusted company. We're going to run very lean. We're going to keep our admin costs at a bare minimum, so that we can flip that money as much as we possibly can right back to our cause.
And I love that, and on your Facebook page, because I know you've got a website too, which listeners were going to be filling in. And of course, Google's your friend for that. Guns to Hammers Construction, look them up. You can find them in all areas. But your Facebook page really highlights a lot of the great efforts, again, to the videos that you've been able, and you can see the improvements you've made and the access, and you can see really just the impact you've made, but also got to find out a really cool factor about your national campaign, awareness campaign. So could you fill us in on that?
Yes. So last year, we just missed our deadline. We got issued our 501c3 September 9th of last year.
Okay.
Of course, there was a big build up to it, but actually getting it, it took a while. So we finally got it. Unfortunately, September is after July, August, which is typically the cutoff date.
And he's smart, guys. He's smart.
Yeah. So we realized that a lot of the corporate sponsors wouldn't be coming on board till 2018. So I decided, can't sit around for, all this time and do nothing. So what we decided to do was we decided to go on a coast-to-coast road trip around the country, bringing awareness to this. So we have a 3-step plan. The first plan was awareness. The second plan is what comes with awareness is raising money.
Right.
And the third step is logistics. So we're still kind of in between phase 1 and 2 right now. Or well, we're kind of working into phase 3 as well, but not on a big scale yet. So we were able to rally some TV stations, Fox News out of San Antonio. We actually kicked the trip off in San Antonio. Myself and a good friend of mine, lifelong friend, we were in the Marines together, went to high school together. We both went to high school in San Antonio. So we thought a great place would be the Alamo in San Antonio. So Fox News met us there and gave us a great send-off. And just the San Antonio folks were really, really behind us from day one.
Yeah.
And then we drove west, and the plan was to go all the way out to California, hit as many stations as we could, and then cross the country over to Boston, Massachusetts, and then zigzag down, hitting some key spots along the way.
Now, you said September timeframe is when y'all did this?
No,
When did y'all make, or I'm sorry, when did you start making the drive?
So we left Memorial Day.
Oh, Memorial Day, okay.
Which is, May 31st.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
We were gone for
Last Monday in May.
yeah.
So we did 7,200 miles in 19 days.
Whoa.
We ended up being on 15 different TV stations. Went to several studios like this one, spreading the word. Spoke to millions of people, and it was so well received. Of course, I'm missing a key point is that on this trip, we didn't just drive this trip in a Cadillac or a luxury vehicle. I took a Jeep that I had restored myself and another Marine friend of mine, Shoren Jorgensen, who's out there listening, I'm sure. He helped me restore this Jeep. And what we did was we wrapped it then in the flag. And it's the most eye-catching Jeep you'll ever see. Check it out on our Facebook page.
It's beautiful.
It is so beautiful.
And, we decked it out, and that Jeep was just attracted so much attention. And then, of course, we have our website and our, everything on it. So people are going onto our website and just driving and seeing all of the thumbs up and the fist pumps and truckers hitting their air horns and people just embracing us at gas stations and hotels, trying to pay our room and buy us breakfast when they realized what we were doing because they'd already gone to our website. It was so inspiring. I get chills every time I talk about it because, and I told Kevin, I said, our country is not as broken as what we think it is. Right now, it's all about polarization, and you're either blue or you're red or whatever. This was such a mutual thing. It didn't matter what state we were in. Everybody loves veterans, and the support was amazing. And so, yeah, that Jeep was pretty much seen by millions because on every TV station we were on, they've highlighted the Jeep. So it's kind of our symbol. And so, yeah, the trip was just beyond. It went far beyond our expectations. We, of course, the Marine Riders heard about us. They contacted me. I had a guy by the name of Big Boy call me.
Nice.
And he introduced himself, and he's like, "Hey, Devil Dog, this is Big Boy. I'm with the Marine Riders. Want to know if you guys would like an escort to, help pump some attention up." And of course, I was all about it. So as we crossed the California border, he and about 20, 25, 26 other Marine Riders were there waiting for us, and they gave us an escort all the way into Las Vegas. And
That is remarkable.
it was. It's posted on our Facebook page,
I
and that
love
was
that. Love it. And
Yes.
just in case you don't know, listeners, Marine Riders are some bikers. It's a biker team, so throughout the U.S. And this particular team had caught on to what was happening, right?
Yes.
well,
And
yeah, they did, and the thing that really was got me was these guys had just gotten back from they had just taken some Marines' ashes up to Washington, D.C., and they had just gotten back. So they had just come off a 3,000-mile road trip, and these guys had saddle sores, I'm sure, but they were all about just doing this for us. And it really did help us when we got into Las Vegas because we got some more media coverage there. And, this is just, it was such from the first, the entire trip was just one entire warm and fuzzy, patriotic experience. And it got better. As we were leaving and we were crossing the Rockies, we get a phone call from a guy. He identified himself was Dan.
hold on. Now, before you get into this part, I'm going to have to cut you because I want to take a break, okay? Because we want to come back. Listeners, you got to stay tuned. We've got more because, yes, he got a call from a gentleman named Dan. You're going to want to find out that and more, how you can support Guns to Hammers Construction, make a difference in veterans' lives immediately. This team is just a great great team of veterans and others alike that love vets and want to make a difference. I know you do too, so stay tuned so you can hear more on Grit and Grace with Jennifer and Merideth. Thanks so much for tuning in this week, guys. Be sure to check us out every Saturday live, 8 to 9 on Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1. Also on irlonestar.com. But more importantly, subscribe. Let us know what you want to hear. Leave us your comments, right?
Yeah.
We want to hear from you, all right? Check us out online, too. Where can they find us online? Damn it, woman, that's what you're supposed to say, the social media. Grit and Grace Texas at gmail.com. Online, all our social media platforms are at Grit and Grace Texas. Be sure to connect with us, guys.